I do believe that Will Smith called it Bryshere Gray.
It's just another wave of the universe looking at it. Diddy. You know, even Epstein, all of them. What one human being does, all human beings are doing.
What Terrence Howard had to say. Because of all that he talked, he said nothing about Bryshere. He played his television father. Right. He was on set. He saw what Charlie Mack and them were doing. He knew they were taking those young boys to Diddy. They all knew.
Do all those things. When you give up those things, like when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy party. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
They trying to sleep him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy.
For many people, Bryce Gay's rise looked like a dream Hollywood story. A young man from Philadelphia went from performing music on the streets to becoming a star on one of America's biggest TV shows, Empire. His role made him famous almost overnight. Fans loved him, and it seemed like he had everything: music, fame, attention, and a bright future ahead. But now, some people say there may be more to the story. In early 2026, actor Terrence Howard spoke about unusual things he says he noticed while working with Bryshere Gray. He claimed that some powerful people were trying to get close to the young actor under the idea of mentorship. At the same time, singer Jaguar Wright and comedian Cat Williams also made strong claims about problems in the entertainment industry and how young stars are treated. When these comments started getting connected online to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal, it led to a lot of speculation and debate. People are now asking, are these insiders revealing real hidden truths about Hollywood, or is the internet turning separate stories into something bigger than what actually happened? To understand why so many people are talking about it, we need to start from the beginning.
Smith, Bryshere Gray. Period.
I was not expecting any of this.
I know you weren't, but let me give you one more thing. Let's get into the paperwork. There's paperwork to this. So after all this starts to play, the story's long. You got to get the book. But long story short,
I'm gonna get the book.
But Charlie Mack.
I will link the link to the book in the description of this video as well.
Okay, so let me just say this so people won't think it's hearsay and just gossip. This is why these people not coming to court. So now, Charlie Mack and Will gets a lawyer for Bryshere, and they try to get me under NDA. I tell Will, I'm not signing. I don't even have an NDA with you. How am I getting an NDA with him? You understand what I'm saying? So I hire a lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. When I hire the lawyer, he comes back and say, listen, this is the best I can do. He said, I'm going to have y'all do a mutual NDA, meaning that Bryshere can't tell people that you know that Will and Diddy sexually assaulted him. And I want to say the R word, but I know we're on YouTube. Then you can't say nothing about him. So I said, okay, well, as long as he stopped telling people that I know what Will and Diddy did to him. You understand what I'm saying? Period. That was the problem. So there's legal
Before
paperwork,
fame,
and it's
Bryshere Gray lived a simple life in Philadelphia, performing on the streets as a young rapper under the name Yaz the Greatest. He had talent and ambition, but no one expected how fast his life would change. Everything shifted when he was cast in Empire as Hakeem Lyon, the youngest son in a powerful music family. The show became a huge hit, and Bryshere quickly rose to fame, working alongside stars like Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard. But with sudden fame came new people, new pressure, and big industry influence. Managers, agents, and insiders all surrounded him with opportunities that seemed like a dream. However, some later suggested that not everything in his rise was as simple or safe as it appeared. Terrence Howard even hinted that certain situations around Bryshere made him uncomfortable.
I'm appreciative of that, but what I'm more concerned with right now is making sure that 4 generations from now,
thank you for that.
Our children, and not just our children, we've been taught this fallacy that we're the only things made in God's image.
Right.
Everything in creation is made in God's image and deserves the same rights that we have.
Terrence Howard, Hustle and Flow, he just recently came out and told a story that,
he was supposed to go work for Diddy, and he was summoned there multiple days to show him the ropes, and he ultimately felt that Diddy was trying to, in his own words, quote unquote,
take his man card.
Yeah.
He cares very much about that card.
Yeah. When you heard him tell this story, because now he just went online today to defend anyone who's questioning that story, to say it with the chest and say his name directly and come at him directly to question anything that he says. What are your thoughts when Terrence Howard tells the story of
he's telling the truth. So was Columbus Short last year on Boss Talk Radio. Looking real suspect down there, G.
1 a.m.
They damn near had the same story, didn't they? Or is everybody forgetting that a year ago, before Diddy got arrested, that Columbus Short told this exact same story? Except in his version, Diddy called him at 2:30 in the middle of the night while he was laying next to his wife, summoning him to come spend time with him. And then apparently on one instance, he had went and he was drinking, and he said he said that was the moment that he was grateful he was an alcoholic. Because he knew how high his liquor tolerance was, and there was no way he should have been slumped off of one drink. That's what he said.
Yeah.
The question is, why you answering the phone for a grown man while you're laying next to your wife at 2:30 a.m. in the morning? Why are you answering? All right, you making runs? Okay.
Yeah. Cat Williams said, you got to tell Diddy no. You got to tell him no.
You got to tell the devil no.
There you go.
5 letters, Diddy, devil, same thing.
So,
Same thing.
As we're delving into this world of, of course, the Diddy, the case is coming up. We did an interview. It's not out yet, with Chopper City from Making the Band, and he said he ran into Cassie right before that lawsuit came.
You mean Making the Victim?
Oh man, you said it.
I'm not laughing at the horror. I'm just laughing at like people still really.
Years after the early success of Empire, Terrence Howard began speaking more openly about concerns from that period. He claimed Bryshere was still very young when he was suddenly pushed into the spotlight. According to Howard, the actor was quickly surrounded by influential figures who presented themselves as career guides. At first, it seemed like standard Hollywood mentorship, something common in the industry. But Howard later suggested that some situations he witnessed felt unusual and made him uncomfortable. In interviews in early 2026, he mentioned that certain meetings and opportunities being arranged did not feel right to him. He said he tried to advise Bryshere to be cautious about who he trusted. Howard also implied that young rising stars can sometimes attract attention from powerful people seeking influence over their careers. Although he didn't go into full detail, his remarks were enough to spark speculation online, especially as public conversations about powerful industry connections were already intensifying at the time.
The how Diddy conversation came up. That went everywhere. You remember that when we talked about the Diddy conversation, where I think he wants to,
I think he's trying to validate you.
And then afterwards, he obviously went to prison, court, all that stuff has been done. And I don't know if you had a chance to watch the 50 Cent documentary.
Yeah, I saw it.
What'd you think about it?
50 went in. He went all the way in, but it's like when you start judging people for the choices that they've made, you don't know the conditions and the circumstances that they were put under. Like I think about those girls that did that to me when I was 4. Where did they learn it from? Who did what to them that made them think it was normal to carry this thing out? I think that a lot of us get caught up in habits that was passed down to us that aren't necessarily innate from us, but they get passed on to us. So I've got to look at him, with compassion, because you got to remember he's still us. You look in his eyes, it's the same light of God that's shining back. It's just another wave of the universe looking at it. Diddy. Even Epstein, all of them. What one human being does, all human beings are doing. Because we're just really, what happens in the sea over here, we don't say this wave just crashed.
Interesting thing to say. If one human being does, so meaning someone taught Epstein, someone taught Diddy. When I had Suge Knight on, Suge Knight said, who did he say, Rob, that taught Diddy? He gave a name. Quincy? No, was it Quincy? Clive Davis. Yeah, he said Clive Davis.
Clive Davis.
Yeah, he talked about that, what Clive did early on, and then so probably somebody taught Clive, and this thing keeps. Did you hear any stories about Epstein in Hollywood, or he wasn't in Hollywood?
No, I mean, when I would hear about Chris Tucker and people hopping on the plane to go there, I didn't know that Epstein was, the bad guy that he is now. But I was like, damn, I would love to go. I didn't know what was happening.
No one talked about Epstein.
No, nobody.
Harvey they did, but not Epstein.
They didn't talk about Epstein. I didn't know. But hell, I could have easily ended up over there if he had invited me over there. Because you think, okay, I'm going with the Hollywood move. That's how you get there. Like I wasn't invited to the Puffy parties. I wasn't invited to any of those things. So there's a part of me that's so grateful that I wasn't invited. But back then I felt excluded. Back then I felt like, oh, I must be doing something wrong. I wish I had participated in some of the druggery, and then wouldn't have alienated people that were good friends that could have been good friends, because I still ended up participating in the druggery when I got older. But at the time, I just didn't want to do it because, I had these other things that were pressing upon me. Now, I didn't get stuck into druggery, but yeah, it would have been nice to take some walks. When I look back, in my 30s.
Could have ended nasty.
It could have ended nasty.
So the fact that you didn't is probably a better thing.
So the universe places you can't really regret anything, but there's still parts of me that's like, wow, I dodged a bullet with Epstein.
Terrence Howard just broke his silence, and now Jaguar Wright is taking the story even further. What really happened to Bryshere Gray after Empire? Was this simply fame gone wrong? Or something much darker happening behind the scenes in Hollywood? In today's interview, we're connecting the dots that the industry doesn't want people asking about.
His television father,
Right.
He was on set. He saw what Charlie Mack and them were doing. He knew they were taking those young boys to Diddy. They all knew. I guess his man card only counts, or is only large enough to cover his ass.
Okay.
Because if you truly believed in all that you say, there is no way you could stand by and watch all of those people that you worked with do what they did to those kids. And you said nothing. Like, if you're going to have integrity, it needs to wrap all the way around the building.
Yes. Facts.
You gotta have integrity for it all. If the man card is the thing, and you ain't gonna let nobody take yours, when you see a younger man being preyed upon, you're not gonna stand in the gap for him and say, no, you ain't taking his man card. No. Cause see, that's what a real one would do. Meanwhile, you've been this close from making that amount of money that you wanted to retire. For what, like 16 years? You think you gonna get it? Do you? You've always, Terrence, Howard has been 2 movies away from retirement for the past 16 years.
And he still speaks on Iron Man.
And guess what? Don Cheadle ain't had no problem with scooping that up. I guess the man card. Like, I'm looking at all of these adult, black, so-called elite entertainment whatevers. Y'all don't give no damn about what's happening to these kids. And y'all don't give no damn about how it rips them apart for years after. I'm actually about to present one of my new podcasts. It's called Tracking the Pain. It's going to be a realistic and esoteric investigation into the life and the work of an artist leading up until they signed the contract and everything that happened after.
Wow.
I will be working with a psychic and a gematria specialist to really make sure that everyone is seeing not just the physical side, but the metaphysical side as well, because people don't like to believe that we live in a spiritual realm that is being controlled by frequency and sound, and it is. One of the first artists that we're going to be investigating, well, actually, the first 3 that I believe we're going to be investigating will be Absol from Top Dog Entertainment, Justin Bieber, and Donny Hathaway.
I mean, Justin Bieber was young as hell.
And he got depressed real early.
Jaguar Wright is once again naming names, and this time Bryshere Gray's downfall is at the center of the conversation. From disturbing accusations to claims about powerful Hollywood circles, this interview dives deep into why so many former child stars and young actors seem to spiral after success. Is Bryshere Gray another warning story?
Yeah, I'm talking about Bashire's mom. I'ma kick you in your and I'ma go to work North Philly style. You and Charlie. You happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell? I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life and what you had to do with it. You see, I'm sorry.
Do you feel this is...
That came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the fuck away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Bryshere, to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago State to be ready for filming. She knew she knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is she wasn't nothing but a drug dealer's whore. That's all she ever was. She went from drug dealer to drug dealer, and then she snitched on whoever she needed to snitch on until she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bryshere in a million.
From red carpets and fame to public breakdowns and controversy, Bryshere Gray's story has taken a tragic turn. But according to Jaguar Wright and several outspoken celebrities, there may be hidden forces inside the entertainment industry that helped destroy his career. Today's interview uncovers the claims everyone online is debating.
Here we go. It's your boy, Bryshere Gray, here, Empire. What's up, man?
That was great. Thanks. Congratulations on the success of the show. I mean, last year it seemed like it was like just a big train that came in and just kept going along. You guys set the ratings records and everything. Did you expect that at all when you got the pilot script?
No, not at all. It just kind of just blew up out of nowhere, and really, and just from the music to the acting, put it together. It was a great project.
And how has it changed your life personally? I mean, just all the success. I mean,
oh man,
I've been to events, people are screaming your name all the time.
Man, it's like traveling from city to city. People know my face everywhere I go. It's a huge blessing, man. It's just, I'm happy to be a part of something that's inspirational to the world and means something to the world. My character is kind of mean, but he means something to the world, and so I'm just happy to be playing.
Terrence Howard hinted at secrets behind Empire, but Jaguar Wright says the truth goes far beyond what the public knows. In this explosive interview, we break down the allegations, the industry rumors, and the shocking claims connecting Bryshere Gray to a much bigger Hollywood pattern that social media cannot stop talking about.
Dollar home, your whole book is lies, Andy. And I hope anybody that bought it asks for a refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gay. You and Charlie, man.
Yeah, let me ask you. Today the U.S. Yeah, no, we gonna pray for Mr. Gray, man. If he needs prayer, I don't even know what's going on.
They're trying to sleep him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the Flavor Camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up on coke, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a Philly whore. You're a whore. You're a bigger whore than they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all.
What if Bryshere Gray's downfall was never just about bad decisions? Terrence Howard, Jaguar Wright, and Cat Williams have all raised serious questions about the entertainment industry and the people controlling it. In this interview, we explore the rumors, the allegations, and why many believe Bryshere Gray became another Hollywood sacrifice.